Well, hello everybody. My name's Bob Courtney, and this is my discussion board for Unit 2 on literacy assessments. One of the things that this discussion board for me will be a little different than maybe everybody else. I believe everybody else has been a teacher for a while or has taught in classes. I have yet to do any teaching and plan to do some kind of teaching after this degree. So this is kind of a made-up assessment discussion board for me, as we're supposed to be using whatever we use in our schools that we teach at. So what I did was I kind of did some research on formal assessments, and this is the one I came up with. I did find out the difference between formal assessments and informal. A formal assessment is pretty much a standardized procedure that they normally use for state tests. Informal kind of gives you a little more leeway with the teachers and whoever's given the assessment. It's probably a little easier to give and to take, but formal assessment is what we're doing. So what I decided to go with was the Iowa assessment, and it's also known as the ITBS, or the Iowa Test of Basic Skills. This assessment's been around since around 1935 and has been revised many times, but it has gone from being just for Iowa to states all across the United States, and it seemed like a pretty good assessment to me. One of the things I was looking at when I looked at literacy assessments, most of them were reading and writing, and this one actually gave a little more, I felt. It was a standardized test. It's designed for reading, language arts, math, history, science, and so I thought that kind of gave you a little more of a feel for what the students actually knew. Now, when you get ready to give these tests, one of the things that you have to prepare for is to make sure all the students have the necessary materials, which would be pencils, erasers, setting them up in a quiet, distraction-free environment for testing. The person that actually gives these tests needs to give them clear instructions to the students on how to fill out their answer sheets. Each test is timed, so it's important to kind of keep them up to date on their time as they're going through each section. The person that gives the tests are usually teachers that should supervise the students to ensure they follow the rules and there's no cheating along the way. So it's a pretty simple, common sense assessment. The scoring, once the tests are done, it's a standardized scoring sheet. The tests are usually sent off to a central location where they are scored with a standardized procedure to ensure consistency and accuracy throughout the whole school or district or area. After that, the reports are generated, and it's usually a detailed report showing each student's performance as well as how they compared among their students in their area and the national testing. Pretty simple, pretty common sense. After all that's done, the educators or the teachers, they'll analyze the results to identify the students' strengths and the areas for improvement. At that point, they can put together an action plan based on the results for each student that can be addressed to the students, the parents, and everybody else involved. Everything I read on the ITBS, it's very reliable and valid, and it gives a comprehensive overview of the student's academic abilities. So that's kind of why I went with that assessment. I thought it seemed pretty straightforward. Now I know a lot of students and a lot of people don't work good with tests when they're being timed. My thing about that is I think it kind of makes you a little sharper, I feel. I think if they say, well, it's a time test and I just didn't have enough time, then usually, in my opinion, they're kind of getting a little lazy if they actually did study for it or have been staying on top of things. I think that's just a out for a lot of people. I know I have a 11-year-old grandson that loves tests that are timed. And one of those reasons was, or is that he, in my opinion, is pretty smart, very smart, matter of fact, but he uses that to his advantage. He's usually one of the first couple in a class to finish the test and always does very well with it, and it kind of pats him on the back himself about it, but he uses that, how can I put it, he kind of uses that stress or tension or whatever it takes that gets his mind going and gives him that little bit of adrenaline to actually think harder on his tests. So I think standardized tests are very good formal assessments, and this is the one I picked. When I do finally start teaching in a school, in a class, my ideas may change, but for now, that's my video on this discussion board, and I hope you enjoy it. Looking forward to hearing and seeing everybody else's. Thank you.